At the Chaoyu base, a similar attack occurred. The leader, Wei Dinghai, utilized the warship's weapons to fight back against the zombies, but he remained confused about the origin of the attack and the possibility of an organization behind it. Meanwhile, at the Snow Sect, the followers enjoyed the warmth around the fire and the fruits of the sacred tree, unaware of the zombie horde approaching from a distance, bringing a new threat to their gates. Creatures that once existed only in fiction were now real. Panic erupted at the Snow Sect headquarters as zombies launched their assault. Soldiers tried to fight back but were quickly overwhelmed and retreated into the temple. Moments later, a blast of fire drove the zombies back, and Zhang Yi emerged from the temple, accompanied by the Snow Sect mutants. With his fire abilities, Zhang Yi held a clear advantage over the S-class zombies. He ordered Li Zhan and Geng Hua to stay inside the temple to protect the leaders and followers, while the others were tasked with facing the threat. One soldier, having transformed into a werewolf, quickly decapitated a zombie. However, he soon realized that even without a head, the zombie continued to move. He began cutting the bodies into smaller pieces to stop them completely. After 30 minutes of intense battle, the scattered zombie parts were collected and brought to an abandoned building. Zhang Yi commanded a thorough examination to ensure that no one had been injured, as it was highly likely the zombies carried a biological virus. His subordinate immediately ordered several people to isolate and observe the remains. Upon inspection, he concluded that these zombies were different from those portrayed on television. They showed intelligence and strategy. He accused another base of being behind the attack and demanded accountability. However, their top priority remained the protection of the Snow Sect from future threats. Zhang Yi warned that a new storm was on the horizon. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi received a call from an ally at the Qingpu base, which had also been attacked. Over 100 lives had been lost. His friend asked about the origin of the zombies and compared them to those in Resident Evil. Zhang Yi explained that these zombies were strange. They didn't die even when beheaded and appeared to be under someone's control. Hearing that the Qingpu base, over 100 kilometers away, was also attacked, Zhang Yi realized the scale of the problem was far greater than he had imagined. Xing Tian mentioned that over 10 million people had died in Tianhai during the catastrophe, and he feared they might all turn into zombies. Zhang Yi advised him to stay calm and work on coordinating efforts with the other bases. The next day, Zhang Yi's headquarters was attacked once again. But this time, they were better prepared. Chun created a thick fog, disorienting the zombies. Uncle Yu then used a flamethrower to burn them, reducing the zombies to ashes and rendering them immobile. Watching from the window, Yu Keier concluded that the zombies carried a virus that thrived in cold temperatures and weakened under heat. Once burned, the zombies began to flee. Still, Zhang Yi remained uneasy. He explained to Chun that although they had managed to repel the previous assault, the number of zombies this time was much larger. This suggested the virus was spreading quickly, and those who died would likely become zombies. Zhang Yi ordered everyone to return to the shelter while he explained the situation further. Back at home, Zhang Yi expressed his concern that if the situation continued to deteriorate, the entire city of Tianhai could be overrun. This fear made everyone anxious. Xian pointed out that the current attack still seemed controlled, as their enemy had yet to unleash their full power. However, without uncovering the truth behind the zombie outbreak, it would be difficult to prevent future threats. Karen voiced her concern about the summer heat potentially accelerating corpse decay. Zhang Yi reminded everyone that the main threat wasn't just the number of zombies, but the fact that someone was controlling them. They weren't acting like ordinary monsters. What made things worse was that there were only two reliable ways to kill them: by burning them or cutting their bodies into small pieces. Xian emphasized the importance of confronting the mastermind behind it all. But Zhang Yi admitted it would be difficult to find that person, as the enemy always managed to escape. Amid the uncertainty, Yu Keier shared her findings. Over the past 2 days, she had discovered that the zombies carried an ancient virus capable of surviving in extreme conditions, even at temperatures of 100 degrees Celsius. The virus resembled a hybrid between a virus, a living cell, and fungal colony behavior. It could invade a host's nervous system to control it, while also reproducing like modern viruses. When Zhang Yi asked her to explain it more simply, Yu Keier said that after the apocalypse, biology itself had changed. The zombie virus now functioned like a biological colony, showing signs of intelligence when in large groups. However, when separated from the group, their reactive abilities weakened. She suspected the existence of a mother virus, a central source controlling the entire population, similar to how biological colonies operate. If this mother virus could be destroyed, all infected zombies might die. Although she couldn't confirm it yet, the zombies' behavior did show signs of basic intelligence. Zhang Yi began to realize that although the zombie attacks over the past 2 days had been fierce, their tactics were simplistic. It resembled the behavior of young children just learning how to act. Lien suspected the zombies were mutated humans who had been infected after death, a theory that made sense to Zhang Yi. He concluded that the infection might be triggered by a critical condition before death, which activated the virus mutation. They all understood the importance of carefully observing zombie behavior to find a way to defeat them. They began by clearing the area around them to prevent further danger. Lien raised a new concern. How could the zombies spread to multiple regions of Tianhai at the same time? Sinsin suggested that the Tianhai subway system, which connected the entire city, might be how the zombies moved between areas. This explained why the number of zombies in their area was relatively lower, as they were located along a secondary route. Zhang Yi ordered Xin to monitor activity at other bases while they worked on a definitive solution to the zombie threat. He emphasized that the survival of others was not their responsibility. If people refused to take drastic steps, they would have no choice but to keep fighting. Zhang Yi felt somewhat calmer now, especially since the number of followers in the Snow sect was increasing rapidly. To him, losing a few people during this crisis wasn't entirely bad, because it acted as a filter, allowing only the strong to survive. Some time later, the zombies launched another attack, this time at night, unlike previous times. The team was ready for them. But Zhang Yi questioned whether the nighttime assault was deliberate, perhaps because the zombies found daytime fights harder. He poured fuel around the bunker, but the zombies avoided crossing the dangerous substance. This showed that they were learning, something that was deeply troubling. It confirmed the theory that zombies could learn. Zhang Yi decided to ensure that all zombies were eliminated. He mounted a mutant cat so he could monitor the zombies from behind and prevent them from escaping. Only 3 people were placed on the front lines. Zhang Yi gave the signal for them to begin their attack. Chun-Lei used her ice powers to freeze the approaching zombies. Lien struck with the aura of her sword. And Uncle Yu followed up with bursts of flame. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi watched from behind. He supported them with accurate shots, disabling zombies by hitting their joints. The mutant cat fought with its powerful body, cornering groups of zombies one by one. After a long battle, all the zombies were finally defeated, and the team returned to their leader. Zhang Yi concluded that the Zombie King was not among them, though he was clearly still controlling the zombies' movements. Their goal wasn't destruction, it was to gather information for the Zombie King. If this tactic evolved, a larger army could be on its way. Zhang Yi realized they had to act now, not just defend. He implanted hidden cameras in the eyes of one of the zombies, hoping to investigate the subway station more thoroughly. Lien asked if they planned to explore the depths of the subway and destroy the zombie nest. Zhang Yi knew the best defense was a strategic offense. To prove this, he attacked a fallen zombie, then let it escape. Now, they just needed to wait. A while later, Zhang Yi turned on the television linked to the zombie's eye camera. It was like watching a real-life zombie movie. Just as Yu Qier and Xin had predicted, all of them were inside the subway. Chun-Lei was horrified at the thought of becoming a zombie after death. Xin tried to calm her down, explaining that becoming a zombie required virus contamination. And they still didn't know if that applied to them. Zhang Yi said that even if they wanted to gather all the dead bodies to prevent more zombies, it would be impossible to collect 10 million corpses. Their primary focus had to be finding and defeating the Zombie King. Suddenly, Zhang Yi's attention was drawn to one zombie that stood out in the crowd, something strange, like an avatar. When the creature realized it was being watched, it looked directly into the camera. Zhang Yi nearly panicked. But this confirmed what they had suspected, the Zombie King was there. Still, how could they kill the Zombie King with so many undead hiding underground? Even if they were all armed, who knew how long they could last? Chun, afraid, asked how they could defeat millions of zombies in the subway. Xin added that the subway connected the entire city of Tianhai. The Zombie King would likely flee at the first sign of danger. Despite the challenges, Zhang Yi stood firm. They had to try. The numbers didn't matter. What mattered was stopping the zombies from escaping. So, they would start with the subway. Lien suggested beginning at the subway exits to prevent any escape. The main objective was to kill the Zombie King. If the king was captured or killed, the rest would fall into place. As for the other zombies, there were still plenty of ways to handle them. Uncle Yu agreed to act quickly, either following the plan or offering suggestions. Zhang Yi decided they needed to prepare immediately. Then enter the zombie nest and carry out their mission. Chun-Lei hesitated at Zhang Yi's decision. It seemed too rushed, diving into enemy territory without enough information. But Zhang Yi had reasons he hadn't revealed. A hidden confidence in something they didn't yet know. What mattered most was that if necessary, he could lead them out of the subway safely, without being reckless. He chose not to share his secret. Lien accepted his decision and felt there was no need to worry. Yang Mi then prepared a delicious meal to boost everyone's energy for the next day. Meanwhile, at Yang Sheng's base, Hong Lien successfully repelled another zombie attack with her troops. She realized they couldn't rely on defense alone.